Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 10, text 9. Macchitta Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Katayanta Shamam Nityam Dushyandi Cha Ramanti Cha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are surrendered to me, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss, enlightening one another and conversing about me. So, another very important verse. So, this section we are reading is called the Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita, starting from 10.8, and this is the second verse from the Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita. Macchitta Madgata Pranaha Bodhyantasya Parasparam. So here the qualities of a devotee, especially the pure devotees, it has been described what they do and how their consciousness is. So it is said here, Machitta, the thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. And not only thoughts, but also Mad Gata Pranaha, their life itself, Gata Pranaha, their complete self is absorbed in Krishna. So their chitta means consciousness, their mind is absorbed in Krishna. Madgata pranaha, their whole life, everything about their life is also for Krishna. And then bodhyandasya parasparam, how it happens? Because they parasparam with each other, they keep discussing, they keep talking, bodhyanda. So they discuss. Machita Madgata Prana Bodhyantasya Parasparam. So when the devotees they come together, they meet together. What they do, they don't talk any politics, any worldly things, but they talk about Bodhyantasya Parasparam. They talk about Krishna Katha. Katyantasya Mam Nityam. They do the katha, they do the discussion of Mam. Krishna is saying, they discuss about me. And when they discuss, not once in a while, once in a week or sometime, but Nityam, constantly, every day. So, Machitta, Madgata Prana, Bodhyantasya Parasparam, Katyantasya Mam Nityam. Devotees, they come together, they do the katha about me, they discuss about me, they talk about me, and by doing that, then what happen? Tushyanti cha Ramanti cha. They derive a lot of satisfaction, a great satisfaction, Tushyanti, and also Ramanti. Ramanti means they're delighted. So the thoughts of my pure devotees dwells in me. Right? How it happens? It's very simple. Because the pure devotees, they are in complete love with Krishna. So when we are in love with someone, then that person becomes our inner home. So for pure devotees, Krishna is their love. Their life is for Krishna. And then Krishna becomes their inner home. Right. So otherwise, people in this world, everybody is doing this bodhyantasya parasparam. Everybody is meeting together and talking something. People can't be without talking. There's so much talk is going on in this world. And everything is about talk, all this newspaper, social media, people are just talking what is happening around the world, around the globe. So much talk happens. So one cannot be without talk. But a devotee is not interested in any other talk than talking about Krishna, discussing about Krishna. So if Krishna is not there in the heart, if Krishna is not the goal of their life, then there are different mental homes. Right? When as soon as the person gets some little time, and then immediately the mind goes into something, some discussion. Can be about cricket, movie, some other sense gratification. This is the nature of the mind. So mind needs some chatter. Either you chat with others or you have the mind chatter. But if but the pure devotees, they are machitta madgata prana. Their mind is fully absorbed in Krishna. Whenever they find time, they just talk about Krishna, they think about Krishna. So this is what has been described here by Krishna here. So there are some primary faculties of our existence which has been described here. So chitta, which is mind, and then gata pranaha, the body. So with the mind and with the body and with the words, the devotee is always engaged in discussing about Krishna, hearing about Krishna, talking about Krishna. The whole existence is offered to Krishna, and their whole life simply for the service of Krishna, but there's no other purpose other than that. So this is what is happening here, and that happens nityam, katyanta shamam nityam, and tushyanti, they derive the satisfaction. What satisfaction? They are satisfied with their current level of advancement. Oh, I don't deserve all this, but still I am getting this. I'm so satisfied. And then this is Tushyanti, and then Ramanti. Ramanti means they're delighted. They're delighted about, oh, I'm engaged in this Krishna Katha, talking about Krishna, hearing about Krishna, discussing about Krishna, and then gradually they start to develop their attraction, their affection towards Krishna. They start to understand more and more about Krishna, and then they feel delighted by that. And they're delighted also in enlightening each other. So this is a very, very important principle for all of us to learn, that what a devotee, a serious practitioner of Krishna consciousness, if we really want to advance, then what we should be doing? We should be doing this. Machita madgata prana bodhyantasya parasparam. When we meet the devotees, then Katyantancha Mam Nityam. We should do the Katha about Krishna, not Gramya Katha, not the worldly talks, but talk about Krishna. The two different kind of talks has been described. Prabhupada explains. One Krishna Katha is the Krishna's words, which is Bhagavad Gita. So when we read Bhagavad Gita, you hear Bhagavad Gita, then you share with others or ask some questions from others. So that way, this Katyantansha Mam Nityam happens. So one is about discussing about Bhagavad Gita and also about Bhagavatam. So Bhagavad Gita is the words spoken by Krishna, and Bhagavatam is words spoken about Krishna. So when we read, then we want to naturally share with others. Or you have the questions, then you want to ask the questions, seek more clarification, then automatically this happens. Katyatansa Mam Nityam. So devotee is always like that. So there are many qualities of devotees has been described. There are 26 characteristic of a devotee which has been described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So one such characteristic of a pure devotee is a mani. Mani means Mon means he does not speak. A pure devotee does not speak. He takes the Mauna Vrata, like you're not talking. But we see the pure devotees, they're always talking. We see Srila Prabhupada is constantly talking. Either he's giving lecture or he's having some conversation with his devotees, explaining about Krishna, explaining about the seva to Krishna, how to manage Krishna service and all of that. So he's constantly talking. But this quality of a pure devotee says Mani, he does not speak. Then it sounds like very contradictory. How a pure devotee is supposed to be Mani, but he's talking all the time. How do we understand? So there is a deeper meaning. Mani means a pure devotee, he does not talk anything but Krishna. He always talk about Krishna. He refrains from any kind of mundane talk. That is the meaning of a Mani. So a devotee should learn to be Mani. Mani means we will not talk anything which is not in connection with Krishna, which doesn't really bring us close to Krishna or Krishna's service, or something which is not related to Krishna's seva. If we don't know how to talk, then we should talk about, oh, how can I do some things in my day-to-day life which gets me closer and closer to Krishna. And then we also develop this quality of a great devotee, which is Mani, like that. And there's this beautiful verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam where it is explains Yatrottama shloka gunanuvada prastuyate gramya katha vigatah nisevyamano anudinam mokshor matim satim yachati vasudeve. So here, uh, the characteristic of a pure devotee has been explained in the Bhagavatam. This verse says what they do. Yatra uttam shloka gunanuvadaha. Guna anuvada. Anuvad means vada means like there is a discussion, there talk about uttam shloka guna. Uttam shloka is another name of Krishna. The meaning of that is Krishna is that personality who is praised by the the choicest poetry, the best of the words. Krishna is glorified. So that is the meaning of Uttama Shloka. So these devotees, they are engaged in Uttama Shloka Gunanuvada. They're talking about the gun, the qualities of that Uttama Shloka, the Supreme Lord. Right? And when they are engaged like this, then what happens? Prastuyate Gramya Katha Vigataha. So they they are Vigataha. means they are not interested in Gramya Katha. There's no chance for them to talk about the worldly things because they're always talking about Uttama Shloka Gunanuvada. So there's no time for Gramya Katha for them. Nisevyamano Anudinam Mukshor. Very Nisevyamana, very seriously they hear, discuss, and how Anudinam every day. Now this is very important, and this the verse we are reading Katyarthansha Mam Nityam. Nitya means every day. This verse of Bhagavatam is also saying Nisevyamano Anudinam Mukshor. Every day they hear. Even the another famous verse Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So the Bhagavata Sevaya, this Shravan should happen Nityam. So Nityam is also another important thing. Every day we have to hear about Krishna, we have to talk about Krishna. This is how our devotees are engaged. Matim Satim Yachati Vasudeva. And by doing this activity, by discussing about Krishna and then keeping themselves away from this Gramya Katha, no time, no chance for doing any worldly talks. Anudinam every day. Then what happened? Matim Satim Yachati Vasudeva. Their mati, their mind, their intelligence, then it automatically it get absorbed in Vasudeva, in the Supreme Lord. So just by talking about Krishna, hearing about Krishna, our mind becomes absorbed in Krishna. So this is a symptom of a pure devotee, which has been described here. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also is strictly prohibited. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met Raghunath Das Goswami, actually Raghunath Das Goswami, who was living in Jagannath Puri, and he had a desire to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So then he requested the Swarupa Damodar, under whose custody he was being trained, appointed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Raghunath Das Goswami, one time he expressed his desire to Swarupa Damodar that I want to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So many years he was living there, but he never got the chance to talk to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it was quite natural for him to have that desire. So then he expressed, and then Swarup Damodar requested Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Initially, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not allow him. He says, "Why you want to meet me? If he's already you are assigned for him, then whatever questions, whatever uh, you know details he needs, he should talk to you, and you should be able to guide him. Why you want to meet me?" But then again, on the request of Swarup Damodar, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu agreed to meet Raghunath Das Goswami. So when Raghunath Das Goswami met, so he received just one time only he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his life, and he received this instruction, as which is a very, very important instruction for all of us to understand and implement. So what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Raghunath Das Goswami was, Gramya Katha na sunive, Gramya Vartha na kahive, Bala na khaive, Bala na barive. So that was the only instruction where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Raghunath Das Goswami, Gramya Katha na sunive, don't hear all this worldly talks, Bollywood, Hollywood, politics, and so many other sense gratificatory talks. Gram kathana sunive, gram varthana kahive. Don't even listen this, and don't even talk about this all these worldly things. So that was the instruction. This is the way. So this is a very, very important feature in the life of a devotee, because devotee's aim is to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? And Prabhupada says that this Krishna consciousness was in fact started to engage people 24 hours daily in the service of Lord Krishna and his glorification. So that's the purpose of starting this Hare Krishna movement worldwide. So whereas there's one platform has been created, that association is being created, where people can come and engage in talking about Krishna, glorifying Krishna. Bodhyantasya parasparam katyardansha mam nityam. So that was the purpose that Prabhupada mentions. Right? And Prabhupada says, this is how we are designing our students in our institution. They're engaged in cultivation of Krishna consciousness from morning 5 a.m. till night 10 a.m. There are actually no opportunities for devotees to waste their time unnecessarily by discussing politics, sociology, and current events. They'll go on their own. Devotee is concerned only with serving Krishna, talking about Krishna, hearing about Krishna. So this is a very, very important quality of a devotee which has been described here. And in the Bhagavatam also it comes. Satam prasangad mama virya samvido bhavanti hritkarna rasayana gada tajjoshanad asapavarga vartmani shraddha ratir bhakti anukramashati. So Bhagavatam explains Satam prasangad mama virya samvido. So Satam means all these devotees, when they come together, then what they do? Mama virya samvido. They do the samvad. Samvad means the discussion. What they discuss? Mama Virya, my glories. So when devotees come together, Mam Virya Samvido, and then what happens by that discussion, discussing about Krishna's glories, what happens? Bhavanti Hirtkarna Rasayana Gata. The nature of this Krishna Katha is, it is Rasayan. Rasayan means like it kind of a nectar, the juice, which is very, very sweet, very nectarian to Hirta, Karna, Rasayana Katha. This Katha is very nectarian to Hirt, to the heart, and to the Karn, to the ears. So when this Krishna Katha goes through the ears, it is like a great juice for the ears and also to the heart. And then, so this is the taste, the nature of this Krishna Katha. And the effect of this Krishna Katha is what? Tad Joshanat, by cultivating this practice of discussing about Krishna, Tad Joshanat, Asu, Apavarga Vartmani. Asu means very soon they becomes free from the pavarga. Pavarga means this bondage in this material world. They start to get liberated very soon just by coming together, talking about Krishna's glories, which is like nectar. And by doing this, Tat Joshnat Asu Apavarga Vartmani, they start to become free from this bondage. They become liberated. And also, what happens? Just by talking Krishna about Krishna, discussing about Krishna, Shraddha, Ratir, Bhakti, Anukramashati. Three things will develop in anyone who comes in the association of devotee and discuss about Krishna. So, first of all, Shraddha will develop, the faith will develop in Krishna. Then Rati means the attraction towards Krishna will develop, and then Bhakti, ultimately the devotion, the love of God will develop just by talking about Krishna uh, in the association of devotees. So this is the nature of this Krishna Gatha. That is why the Shukdev Goswami, when in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, when he start to narrate all Krishna Leela in the 10th canto. So before he starts to narrate the Krishna Leela, he explained the nature of this Krishna Leela. So before, in the very beginning of the 10th canto, he says, Nivrattatarshe Rubgiyamanat Bhavashadashrodhamanobhiramat Kautamashloga Gunanuvadat Puman Virajeda Vinapashugnat. So he says, Nivrattatarshe Ubgiyamanat. Giya means Gana, singing. So if somebody is singing the glories of Krishna, and who is singing? Nivrattatarshe. The people, the great devotees, those who are nivrat, those who are free from trishna, those who are free from all the materialistic desires, when they engaged in upagiyamana, they're singing, talking, describing Krishna's glories, Krishna's pastimes, then hearing from those great devotees, this is bhava aushadha. This is the medicine, this is a great medicine of what? Aushadhi means the medicine. It is bhava aushadha. Bhavashada means the medicine for this uh, conditioned soul undergoing repeated birth and death. So we are all diseased in this material world. We have this bhavarog. Bhavarog means we are stuck here in this material world. So what is the solution? What is the remedy for this bondage? So this is the Bhavashadhi. This is the real medicine. To hear about Krishna from Nivratta Darshar, from the devotees, pure devotees. And this medicine, generally medicine is very bitter, but this medicine is different. It is Shrotra Manobhiramat. When somebody hears Shrotra, it is Manobhiramat. It gives a lot of pleasure, it gives joy, it is very, very sweet. So this medicine is not bitter medicine. It is a very sweet medicine. Uttama Shloka Gunanuvada, the same thing. Devotees are engaged in Uttama Shloka Gunanuvadat, and those who are free from the desires, when we hear, it is very, very sweet medicine. It is Bhavashada. Who will not hear this Krishna Katha? Only the person who is a butcher, and specifically it is referred to one who is the killer of the soul. Pashugna. Pashugna means one who is killing. He is a butcher, or one who is killing the soul. That person will not only listen or interested in this Krishna Katha, otherwise everybody will be interested. It is very, very sweet. So now here another point is coming. One should hear this Krishna Katha from the personality who is Nivratta Tarshar, who is free from this Trishna, from all these materialistic desires. So these pure devotees are free from Trishna. They are only interested in Krishna, no other Trishna. Right? And Sanatana Goswami quotes uh, from the Padma Puran. He says, "A Vaishnava mukhodgirnam putam hari kathamritam shravanavanev kartavyam sarpochistam yathapaha." So he says, this Krishna Katha is very, very nectarian. It is very, very nourishing to the soul, to the heart, to the karna, to the mind. Manobhiramat. It brings tushyanti, charamanti, satisfaction, delight. But also, there is a condition apply. One should not hear this Krishna Katha from Avaishnavad Mukhodgirnam Putam Hari Kathamradam. Shravanam Nev Kartavyam. Don't do this Shravan from a Vaishnava, one who is not a devotee of the Lord. Don't listen from that person. And the example is given, the analogy is given, sarpochista yatapaha. Like the milk, which is very, very nourishing, but if the milk is touched by a snake, then the same nourishing milk becomes poisonous. Anybody takes that milk, he invites the death very soon. So yes, this Krishna Katha is, we are hearing about Krishna Katha, it is Manoviramat, it is, Tushyanti, Ramanti, like that. But if it is heard from a Vaishnava, one who is not a devotee, then he is like Charpo's sister. It becomes poisonous. So one should hear Krishna Katha only from a person who is a great devotee, free from all the materialistic desires. Nivratta Darshar. So pure devotee, they come, they have no other desire but to glorify Krishna, to serve Krishna. And when we come in that association and hear about Krishna, discuss about Krishna, talk about Krishna, then Tushyanti cha Ramanti cha. So this is the nature of this Krishna Gatha. So Narad Muni also, when we see, we hear in the Bhagavatam that Narad Muni, when he is a small child, the son of a maidservant in previous life, then one time he got this great opportunity to hear this Krishna Katha from the Bhakti Vedantis, Nivratta Tarshar, these pure devotees. And during the Chaturmas, they made a stay in one place, and the Narad Muni's mother was helping them in like cooking, washing, and all those things. And Narad Muni, as a small child, will be playing around and sitting around those Bhakti Vedantis, those who were engaged in Krishna Katha. And Narad Muni, as a child, he used to hear. And the effect of that is he became such a great devotee, such a celebrated devotee of the Lord as Narad Muni. Right? So this is the power of this Krishna Katha, which should happen in the association of devotees. So we should learn this principle and very, very carefully, consciously, we should make the point that when we come in the association of devotees in the temple or in any other gathering with the devotees, there should be only discussion about Krishna. There should not be any other discussion like worldly talks, politics, sociology, and all of those things. Sometimes when we are not careful, invariably we fall to all those kind of discussions, and unfortunately, then we just miss out the opportunity to be being in that association of devotees and greatly benefited that. So in the association of devotees, this Krishna Katha should happen more and more, right? And Prabhupada explains in the purport here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started this movement, what he's doing, he's just going and distributing this seed of devotional service in the heart of all the living entities. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasad Pai Bhakti Lata Beach. So he's sowing that seed, he's creating that opportunity for all the living entities around the world to sow this Bhakti Lata. Beej. Beej means the seed. And but now the seed is given. Once we receive that seed, that mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we got in touch with devotees. We start to understand about this Krishna consciousness. So this is the seed. It is special blessings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But then after the seed is received, it is our duty that we daily we water the seed. Nishechan. If we don't water the seed daily, then this seed will not fructify. It will not bring the result. It will not give you the fruit. So what is that water? So it is explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Taha vistarita haya phale prema phal iha mali sach seche nitya shravanadi jal. So once we receive the seed of Bhakti Lata by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada by their mercy, then what we should do is Like the Mali means the gardener, every day seche, nisechan, he nourishes, he water. So in the same way we have to do Nitta Shravanadi Jal. This water is Nitta Shravan, daily hearing about Krishna. That is the Jal that we should every day offer. If we are really interested in getting the fruit from that seed, from that Bhakti Lada, and the fruit will be Krishna Prem. So this is the process. Every day we receive the seed first, and then every day we do the nisechan, we water. That water is Shravanadi Jal, and then gradually this Bhakti creeper, Bhakti Lata grows, and then gradually it grows further and further. It penetrates this material covering, this material, the covering of this material universe, and then it reaches to the spiritual world. And in the spiritual world also, further it grows. We continue to hear about Krishna, and then it goes at the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna. So we can reach, we can attain the lotus feet of Krishna, we can attain this Bhagavad Prem, and that is the goal. And that can be very easily achieved by being in the association of devotees and doing this Krishna Gada. Chitta Madgata Prana Bodhyantasya Parasparam Katyanasya Mam Nityam, every day. And then we derive the satisfaction. So this is what is Krishna is suggesting here, saying, explaining that this is how my devotees are always engaged, and we should do this. Parasparanukathanam pavanam bhagavad yashaha mito ratir mito tusti nivrati mita atmanaha. This is what a devotee should do. Paraspara anukathanam. When we come together, paraspara anukatanam, when we discuss about Krishna, that is very, very pavanam. It is very purifying. This Bhagavata Yasha, the glories of Krishna, when we discuss paraspara anukatanam, Bhagavata Yasha, this is pavanam. It is purifying. It purifies our consciousness. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Cheto darpan marjanam. A lot of purification happens. Otherwise, there's no way to purify your consciousness. This happens only with Parasparanugatatam Bhagavadesha. It is Pavanam, and also not only does it purifies, but it brings Mito Ratihi Mita Tusti Nivrat Mita Atmanaha. It brings Rati and Tusti. This is a mutual, we feel happiness and then satisfaction. And then Nivrati Mita Atmanaha, and one becomes free from Nivrat, from all the desire for sense gratification. See, just by about hearing about Krishna, so many things can happen. It is purifying, it brings satisfaction, it brings happiness, it makes us free from all these worldly desires, all the contamination in the heart. So this is what is the Krishna Gata is. And pure devotees are always engaged, always absorbed in talking about Krishna, discussing about Krishna. Srila Prabhupada, though he was such a pure devotee, a great devotee, he was always engaged in talking about Krishna, discussing about Krishna. Prabhupada used to read Krishna book every day or whenever he get the chance. So sometimes devotees ask that, Prabhupada, you have only written this Krishna book. Why you had to read? You know everything. So Prabhupada is teaching us that even the great devotees, even the liberated soul, the pure devotees, they also derive a lot of joy in just hearing about Krishna, reading about Krishna. Right. So Prabhupada has suggested, Prabhupada has given this Krishna book, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the summary study of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And Prabhupada recommends that all the devotees should hear every day, or read or hear every day from this Krishna book. So this is very important that we read, and especially Prabhupada recommends before we go to bed every evening when we sleep, before that we should read about Krishna book. This is Krishna Gatha. And this is many times we say, okay, that yeah, Parasparanukathanam or this Bodhyantasya Parasparam. So whenever we meet devotees, that time we should talk about Krishna and discuss about Krishna. Okay, understood. But we don't meet every day. The devotees we meet maybe once in a week or maybe twice in a week, but not every day. Then how to do that? So we should understand when we read Prabhupada books, we are actually associating with Srila Prabhupada. And that is when you do this Parasparanukathanam. You do this Bodhyantasya Parasparam. You hear from Srila Prabhupada. So this reading or hearing from Prabhupada, Prabhupada's lecture, Prabhupada's Vani, or reading Prabhupada books, it is all same. This is Bodhyantasya Parasparam. So this is how we can do. So this is the word. These are some of the thoughts on this verse. We can stop here unless anybody has any quick question or any comment. This question, you can unmute yourself and ask the question. Okay, we'll stop here. भगवद गीता एज इट इज की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।